Yup. Fucking last night's Malt Liquor video was kind of long, but holy shit, was it ever fucking epic. Awake for like fucking 30 hours, getting fucking slizzard. Woke up, open can on my desk, straight back fucking at it.
Dust 2 is more than just a map in a video game.
Good God,
Given the
guy.
countless collective human hours spent inside of it, it feels closer to something like a real place. A place that I could probably draw a map of with a higher degree of accuracy than my childhood home. But what is it about this map that still resonates with people almost 25 years later? DE Dust and Dust 2 are not only great maps, they're relics of a renaissance in community contribution to video games. A time when the original Counter-Strike, Team Fortress, and Dota were all released within a few years of each other. It was a time of unbridled creativity among map makers and modders, when classics like CS Tires stood toe-to-toe with bizarre maps like DE Rats or The Simpsons House. When a teenager could cobble together a map like DE Cobble, and it would instantly be canonized into Counter-Strike's map rotation.
Yup. Woke up with all my fucking clothes on. That's how you know you got fucking slizzard.
Among the countless maps that emerged out of this period, the one that looms largest over the history of Counter-Strike is almost certainly Dust 2, which is why its humble origin story is so fascinating. So to tell that story in his own words, we tracked down the original designer, a man who hasn't worked in the games industry in over a decade. It's easy to assume that a map this legendary was designed by a seasoned veteran. But the story of Dust 2 begins before there was a DE Dust, before there was a Counter-Strike, before there was even a Half-Life. It begins with a kid named Dave Johnston making Wolfenstein 3D maps in his bedroom after school.
Good God, guy.
So I grew up in the 80s. My dad worked at the telecom,
Liquor.
communications firm, UK, very big, and he was a software engineer. In the 80s and early 90s, he had a tendency to bring home computers, all kind of little 8-bit microprocessors, the simplest things. But I got into computers very, very early, and especially the Atari ST, which is where I learned most of my console computer skills when I was about 7, 8, 9, 10. Through that, I got into BBSs, and I discovered Wolfenstein, amongst other games on BBSs I played. So that was my first-ish 3D game I played, and I was hooked instantly. And these BBSs, they also included
Fucking
map editing tools.
Wolfenstein.
So I started my first map editing journey making Wolfenstein 3D maps, which was basically just playing Minesweeper, like just kind of click squares and on screen to create walls or get rid of walls or create doors. And it wasn't until I was about 12 or 13 that I discovered Doom for real. I managed to get a copy totally legitimately from a school friend. And again, I was obsessed with all the WODs I could download from BBSs, racking up the most enormous phone bill for my parents, who thankfully were very forgiving. And yeah, finally I was making Doom maps, and I think I released my first Doom map on the internet in what, 97 or so. And at that time, Quake and Quake 2 just come out one after the other.
Doom, fucking
So I was
classic.
starting to move from Doom, which was 2D, much like making vector graphics, which get done on the Atari, to doing the full 3D work. And I remember my first attempt to do a 3D map in Quake was just impossible. I just couldn't do it. But I could give up mapping now. Thankfully, I revisited it a few weeks or months later and tried again. I started to get a hang of it, started to make a few Quake maps just myself, never finished a single one. I just make 1 or 2 rooms here and there. At the same time, I got hooked onto Team Fortress, the original Quake World Team Fortress, and then Quake 2 CTF, and I was completely into the kind of playing mods and then trying to make maps of them. When Quake and Quake 2 came out, Ben Morris had designed another tool called Worldcraft. That was a paid-for thing. I couldn't afford it. I was just a 16-year-old. So I had to use other tools. So for Quake Initial, I used Cruel and also the official Quake Edge. Actually, Cruel was great. It worked really well, but it limited 3D brushes. I think Dust ultimately had about 700, 800 brushes. So I integrated a dust start map with cool. And then when Half-Life came around, it included Worldcraft for free because they'd basically hired Ben Morris to work with editing tools for them. And yeah, I mean, at the time, editing was all about creating brushes, which is these big solid blocks in the world, trying to join them together to make sure players couldn't escape, texturing them appropriately. It wasn't a huge deal. Textures were flat. There's just diffuse textures. There's no like specular or shininess or even sounds in some cases. There's just these big solid things. The sky is just a skybox. It's just a simple six pictures floating in the sky. And
Good God, guy, get to the fucking point.
300 or something at the time, even before that, and I'd see all the other Counter-Strike maps at the time, and most of them were very hard. They'd all these kind of Half-Life textures, and to me it felt hard to be the terrorist or counter-terrorist in Half-Life. I must have been 15, I must have been 16 by then. That's why I finished.
Good God, guy.
all my exams from that summer. I was just had the summer waiting to start sixth form here in the UK. So I just had time to play and do what I wanted. I didn't know Jest or Gooseman at the time. I was just a member of the CS mapping forum. I thought, I think this map might be good enough. I'm gonna upload it and see what people think. Worst case, I get some critical comments and I improve it. Best case, maybe they'll think about leaving in the game. And I think by the next point I'd had a reply from Jess saying they want to include it in beta 3, and they did some testing. I moved a long route to the CT spawn or to T spawn, and I don't think at the time I quite appreciated what just happened. There's a slightly weird map that I've made, totally different from all the maps in the game.
Liquor.
I'll take it. And then so I knew that map was being played. I was playing it online with other people, which was an amazing feeling. That's when Jess came back to me and said, "Hey, Dave, do you want to maybe make another map? We've got a texture artist you can work with," which was Chris Ashton. And then that whole led on to the whole dust thing, which some people may know about.
Let's go. Okay, let's fucking go. Good God, guy.
It's easy to imagine that's the product of some mythical map toiling away at their masterpiece.
Holy shit. Get some fucking pussy, dog.
It's the product of an impatient kid seeing early screenshots of Team Fortress 2.
I was a massive fan of the original prequels Team Fortress, and so when I found out that Valve had bought the Team Fortress team, I was excited. And so when I got retired home into Counter-Strike, that was around the same sort of time.
When you got what?
Released, then retired home into excited. And so when I got retired home into Counter-Strike,
Retard home?
that was around the same sort of time that I think Valve released another tranche of screenshots of Team Fortress 2 at the time, and those were the ones that included this golden kind of beautiful lit world, sort of standing with a tank and some military marching through this environment. I thought, wow, that's okay. Now you've got my attention. I was so excited to play Team Fortress. So it suddenly solidified in my mind that was the next game I had to play. But of course, it was being delayed, and the release date was far out.
Fucking
so
Gabe.
Jess said, I've got Chris Ashton, got MacMan. He's going to make some textures for you for another map. I was like, oh, okay, this is a perfect opportunity for me to try to replicate what I've seen in these Team Fortress 2 screenshots. And it was super cheeky. Such a looking back, it was quite a horrible thing for me to have done, but I've tried to replicate these screenshots and steal what the masters of Valve have been working on. All these map makers and texture artists, they've probably put so much time into those screenshots, made them perfect for release onto the web. And there's me, the old teenage guy from the UK, who's going to kind of come in and swoop in on my glory and try to make it myself. I circled in those screenshots the textures I wanted. He came back a few days later and said, "Here you are," and two extra ones. And I started recreating those screenshots for myself, which is a useful area that represented the counter spawn in D-Dust. All I had to work on was that area. But yeah, is amazing. Be able to get that area created and be able to walk around it and experience it and think, this is, I'm in TF2. I'm actually playing a game that hasn't been released yet, and it just felt so fun. In the past, when I was making Doom maps, I'd really enjoyed making maps of my school or my home, and just having that kind of freedom to explore in an environment which normally had freedom to explore was exhilarating. This was similar. I was able to explore an environment I'd seen in screenshot. I won't get to experience myself for a long time. I could do it today. I can have fun around and see where it went. And then, of course, at that point, I ran out of screenshots because it had like 5 screenshots of one area. So I had to work out. Okay, and now I've got the stuff right now. Jess and Map are now expecting me to make a map out of this. Where do I go from here?
Approaching the fucking swell.
Goose and Jess were trying to make a new game mode for Counter-Strike called Diffusion, where you had to plant a bomb one or two spots, and the other team would have to defuse it. To me, I played a lot of CTF, so I thought these two were quite similar. So I thought, I can make a CTF style map with these textures. I can do that. I started to extrapolate that initial CT spawn area. I didn't know it was a CT spawn at that point. I just knew it as an area. I started thinking, okay, where can this go?
There goes the fucking hat.
I then developed that area into a underground pit, and there's a little road that came out the front of CT spawn and went left and down where the D-Dust underpass is now.
Yep.
That went down further into the underground pits. There's all the
Fucking baked, dog.
Or something down there. If you win
Fucking
those.
baked.
I didn't know what I was doing. I think at this point I was really exploring the textures that I'd had, trying to work out what would work, what didn't work, and trying to establish a theme and a style from that. When I did the underground bit, and decided that this map had to be above ground, had to be bright and colourful. I know I spent a lot of time with the underpass because it was a sort of design that I thought would be fun. I've played other CS maps. I've played Siege a lot and Assault a lot, and I think I was picking up little bits of those and trying to put them in here. I love being a sniper in Counter-Strike, so I thought this underpass would be a fun place to snipe. And then I thought, okay, I've got the sniper section.
Fucking legendary map, dog.
Which is me, the other 8% design. And so I created this sort of tight bit in the middle, these little corridors. And then the other side, around the T-spawn, again, I thought, okay, I need to tie this together somehow. And I just kind of tried to copy the style I got from the CT spawn, which I still didn't know was CT spawn. It's just another area. I began the CT spawn. I just copied that style, slapped it around, and once the time map was sealed, and you couldn't fall out, couldn't escape, I then started to think about where these things could go. I think I already knew that the other path would be a flag or bomb in CT parlance, and the other bit around the other side would become a bomb spot, and then the team the other side. That seemed to make sense, and that was the map I presented to Jess, who then said, "Great, awesome, thank you." Put to testing, and then he came back and said, "Actually, could you move that bomb spot from the underpass to where the CT spawned?" I thought, okay, sure. To me, that seemed really weird, but again, I'll trust judgment. And that was the version that shipped in Beta 4. Yeah, and before I knew it, I was waking up that must have been Saturday, Sunday morning, downloading Beta 4 for the very first time, and finding tons and tons of servers playing D-Dust, and thinking, oh god, it's actually happened. Even playing my map for real. Some are still playing Retirement Home, but most are playing Dust. And yeah, that's when things took off.
Fucking fire in the hole, dog.
The very first time I thought maybe I'd hit on something good was when I saw a screenshot. I don't know if I saw if it's in IRC or ICQ, or even on the Counter-Strike website. There's a screenshot of them playing
Malt Liquor.
Chat saying, "Could we play the Dust map again?" And people say, "Yes, please. Yeah, that one. I like that one." I was like, "Okay, people actually like this." And that's like the first kind of feedback I've seen from people playing these maps is
only Malt Liquor.
And no one knowing that I was the creator and just playing with them and be able to recreate these scenarios that I had played in my head when designing the underpass or designing the CT spawn a little bit, or thinking about all the crate placement I'd done to stop lines of sight being too long or interviewing each other, and just seeing those work in practice, I think was mind blowing. It's like so satisfying and so unreal and weird that this thing was happening. But at the same time, I'm playing this first few hours of Dust and thinking, oh yeah, this timing is not right, or I'm getting to the CT, I'm getting to a little bit too fast as a counter terrorist, or too slow as a terrorist, or this thing, I'm getting caught in this and getting caught in that. Immediately I was already trying to find the flaws and see how it can be improved. And so that's why the subsequent betas 5, 6, and 6.5 get all these little changes to the map, like breaking walls, moving crates, making things brighter, darker, moving
Gotta make
sunlight,
sure the
sunlight around,
fucking
just
headset
trying to
stays
catch
on.
these little circumstances that I'd either spotted or caught in myself that are not
It's the
fun to
fucking
hear.
mic will go
So the
out.
first stuff, the main checkpoint was in those corridors in the middle.
Malt
So I literally
Liquor.
spawned from the front-most spawn point of each team and run that. The shortest path possibly could and see as my watch, be timing it and just seeing at what point, how far I could get before I could possibly see the emergence point of the team. And so I think for us that was around 11 seconds in most cases, and I did push those spawns back and forth over subsequent races to get that balance just right.
Once this map is out there, it's popular. You're seeing screenshots of it, and people talking about it. You're the person who made it, but in a sense now it belongs to the Counter Strike community. Or something.
Yeah.
It must have felt very different to be working on the maps once they were out there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I knew every small change I'd make would be breaking someone's strat that could make the next game, or could be introducing an issue, someone else. It was I did have a sense of it was ownership, also responsibility. It's like, I was like somehow I was given these people an experience that they were enjoying, and that was my small 16-year-old head. That was my phone. I was like, head was exploding like this. And it's just the incredible responsibility. But at the same time, I knew I had to make it better. I had to prove I knew what I was doing. I still felt like I didn't belong. I was just this boy who made a map and was like, not professional at all. I was a complete amateur. But I knew that I had to do things right now. I had to do things properly. Do things as professionally as I could, and try to adhere to the standards I'd seen other members at the time extol. But at the same time, it was like so excited and so happy that this map had been received so well. I had no idea what would happen next. I didn't know if it's just a flash in the pan, if if it's going to last more than a few days, weeks, months, years. I think I was just trying to enjoy it best I could at the time, and playing that version of the game and that version of the map as much as possible. To just really experience it and get the enjoyment that I was trying to put into it out again.
You alluded to this a little bit, but Dust was one of the maybe the first major defusal. It's hard for people, I imagine, now who got into Counter Strike later, especially, to decouple Counter Strike from defusing.
Malt
Such a big
Liquor.
part of playing Counter Strike now.
Yeah.
Could you talk about I'm not sure what the right question is here. Just what did you imagine that would be a big deal? Did it feel like that was an intriguing game mode to you? Did you feel like it would blow up? No, that's not a pun.
So I mean, the original game title of Counter-Strike was Hostage Rescue, and at the time that felt, it felt so revolutionary because all the other mods for Quake and Quake 2, even Half-Life at the time with the science industry, they're all kind of CTF or variations of CTF, often with extra functionality like grappling hooks or super weapons and things. So Counter-Strike seemed fresh. I knew that other mods like Action and Quake and Action Quake 2 and Action Half-Life even, but it also had
The
the
fucking
Flectarn. It's more interesting having actual
Sniper
scientists
Boney.
at that time chasing you, running, coming after you to find freedom.
Malt Liquor.
That's new, that's different, that's very unique to other games. So when Diffusion came along, again, that's a bit like CTF. You had two teams with the distinct objectives. That felt a little bit backwards set, but at the same time it played more strongly into the Counter-Strike theme of terrorist, counter-terrorist. Of course, I'm more likely to blow up things and steal a scientist here and there. So that made more sense. By the time Counter-Strike had reached retail, we all knew it was happening. So it wasn't such breaking news to me. I can't even remember if I went into a store and bought it, if I just bought it online. I don't know what it is. I'm pretty sure that Valve said... we all knew it was happening, so it wasn't such breaking news to me. I can't even remember if I went into a store and bought it, if I just bought it online. I don't know what it is. I'm pretty sure that Valve sent me at least one copy of it in the post, so I already had a copy. For it to reach retail, I had to hand over the rights to the map to Valve, which was unique in itself to be paid money for this thing I'd spent time on. That was possibly the more exciting and interesting and most unexpected thing about the whole affair. The thing appearing on the shelves, that was just a logical consequence of being paid and the thing being successful. So I don't think I really appreciated at the time quite how monumental that was. I think I do wish I'd spent more time at the time, like just appreciating this game I worked on. It's a cardboard box on a CD, in game or whatever, the local shop was at the time. Yeah, I don't think I really sunk in back then.
If you didn't know the whole story of Dave's map-making journey, the unprecedented success of DE Dust might seem like the obvious high point. But while he was struggling to come to terms with the fact that lightning never strikes twice, those of us with 25 years of hindsight know that his biggest success was right around the corner.
So at this point, I'd made Dust and I'd made Cobble, both of which were in Counter-Strike in rotation. So I'd just established myself. I was pretty happy, but I think I was also pretty sure that I'm not going to get a third map into the game. That's ludicrous. Excluding Waterfall Type, a fourth map into the game, that would be ludicrous. So I started to toy around with making another Dust map, and I'm pretty sure between Dust and Dust 2, I had tried making new Dust-ish maps with the same texture set, and they just haven't got anywhere. I had to make a few walls, make a doorway, and you just kind of lose interest, move on to the next thing. For whatever reason, with the next Dust map, I found a scrap of paper, doodled a design, which I never did for any other map. All my previous maps, I just kind of winged it. I just made it up as I went along. For Dust 2, I just started designing something on paper. Thankfully, that design is one that I found the courage, maybe, is the right word, to actually get into the computer and get it from start to finish it was a design that more or less roughly reflected what was on paper. There's some significant changes, especially to the CT spawn, I think, but the overall layout was more or less there. And I thought, okay, this design is completely different to Dust. It's completely different to Cobble. This is far too tight. It's a bit ugly in places. It's a bit too angular. It's got like sharp edges and sharp corners. It's got a spiral. It's got rocky bits. This is just silly. This is not a map that anyone's going to want to play who likes Dust or Cobble. And so I thought, okay, well, I've made it now. And around that sort of time, I had an email from Joe Market from GameHelper.com, and he said, he wanted me to make a map for them. And I thought, well, I've got this Dustish map. Yeah, he said, okay. And I think that's probably music to his ears. That's possibly the best thing you could possibly hear from me. I've got this Dust-style map. I did sort of tell Jess about it, and again, Jess said, send me a copy. So I did. So I sent him D-Dust 3. Before it was released, I called it Dust 3, and he said this is great and suggested a bunch of changes to the bomb spots, again, just like Dust 1.
Do you remember where those original bomb spots were before the sites were A and B where they are now?
Yeah, so there's a tunnel called Suicide, I think now, in Dust 2. At the end of that tunnel, from the terror spawn, you jump down off the road, go through Suicide, and on the left, there's a doorway. In that doorway, there used to be a room, much like it's a very dark room. It's kind of similar to the underparts in Dust 1, and in there was a bomb spot. The other bomb spot was possibly on the right in the little dip along Long A, that weird dip that happens at the end of Long A for no apparent reason. I think it may have been there. I'm pretty sure I moved it around a few times, honestly, trying to find the right location. I do remember at the time, I had learned from Dust. I was trying to incorporate some Dust-ish elements, and that the hallway was very similar to the hallway in Dust 1. So I was trying to incorporate some of that into Dust 2 without it being a direct copy. And that was always the hallway that I'd go down with the shotgun in on SMG. That was just the appeal to me. I think at this point I had developed the sense that there are different play styles. People like to play different guns, different weapons. Long 8 is the part of the map that did not match my paper design, because by the time I got to adding that bit in Worldcraft, I'd run out of room. I was like, no space at all to create what I wanted to create. So I was squashed up against the very edge of the universe in Half-Life terms, and that area just became long as a result. So I think I was trying to make sure that there are no ridiculous lines of sight. There's no positions where a player could get in where they were drawing too much of that, because that would slow down their experience, that would drop their FPS. So I think I was more concerned about the FPS then performance than the actual gameplay. But that's also why it's quite tight, because I had to kind of go around and dog leg a little bit. But again, that area was, I would have preferred to push it out a bit more like the terrorist spawn in Dust 1, with those kind of balcony bits and kind of more stairs and things. But yeah, I was just squeezed. But I think this is one of those times where having a restriction actually forced you to be a bit more creative and find ways to work within those restrictions. And again, somehow, I squeezed in a little passage around from what would become the CT spawn through to the T spawn. I did have there was a pool, like a pond in Dust at one point so just outside the CT spawn. That was creating bad sightlines and things. So I turned it into a solid wall instead. Yeah, there's always little things that just have this sense and sort of feel that these aren't quite right or aren't necessary. I need to pare them back or get rid of them, because Dust isn't a detailed map. That texture set doesn't lend itself to high fidelity detail. It's more blocky, and so I was trying to stick to that. So I always, the most valuable part to me when making map was the first time I get to run around it in 3D and run around, jump around, crouch, do all the kind of maneuvers that I expect players to do. And that is the point where I'd always find sightlines that are incorrect or scary or weird or overpowered, or opportunities to add different defenses or offensive positions, to give opportunities to add like that break in the wall for the B bomb spot. Those were all me trying to think, okay, I'm in this position, what can I do from here, and what do I need to look for? How am I safe? How am I unsafe? And trying to make sure that every part of the map had some advantage, but also yet some disadvantage, and tried to balance those as best I could. It was mostly based on feel. Again, I'd run around and any other kind of that not the kind of spider sense that this feels a bit wrong, a bit weird. Okay, why is that? What am I missing here? What needs to be changed, added, or removed to balance that discomfort in my head out? Just like when you're playing Counter-Strike Reveal, you're always kind of aware of where the enemies could come from and what you can do from your position, where you can hide, what opportunities you have. Again, that pit, I think it was just me wanted to find a way to hide as a sniper and just duck in and try to pop out at people planting bombs and things. I think I was basically trying to play the map in my head at the same time as creating it and trying to cover all these bases. Yeah, that's the best way I think I can describe it.
I feel like if you were trying to design the most optimized, like, competitive play esports map, mid doors would be the first cut, because it's like you can get your head blown off just like setting up at the beginning of the match. Did you have a sense that mid doors was going to be like this lightning rod of controversy, or like?
Absolutely not. I had no idea whatsoever. I didn't even consider the fact that from the terror spawn you could see right down there. That's the sort of thing that normally I think I would have liked to think I'd spotted before I finished that. In that case, that one sightline I did not spot, and so had I spotted that, maybe that those mid doors would have been different. Maybe I'd have shifted them across or lowered them or done something more creative there. But I knew it's Dust map. It needed some double doors.
God damn it, the fucking mic went out again.
And sometimes in some cases, but mostly pay the stuff in. And those doors were, principally there just to stop people's things.
Wonder how long I've been fucking bullshitting with the fucking mic muted. Fucking anyways. TBC is about to come out. Fucking War Main. Private server. Don't gotta pay fucking shit to play it. I'm gonna be fucking streaming it. Get fucking ready, dog.
Imprisoned for 10,000 years. Banished from my own homeland.
Gay ass faggot, Draenei. Horde. Only Horde. Approaching the fucking swell. You ain't fucking prepared, dog. Fucking start playing right now, dog. Warmane. I'm gonna go take a fucking little nap. Malt Liquor. So what the fuck is up, dog?